Cause I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on?
What's going on, people? It's friggin' Thursday, half day, freaking Thursday. We got a busy one ahead of us today, people. We got, I'm gonna rinse out my kapape cup.
Cause I'm gonna have a kapape, but then we gotta go to work.
So it's half day friggin' Thursday today. Oh man, I thought I had more than that. Only got 2 K-Cups left. Only got 2 of these guys left, and then I'm out of kapape. Which is fun because I'd rather brew some of that delicious kicking horse. Or maybe some Muskoka maple. Wow, go to talk and a burp falls out. That's pretty gross. So that's the battle plan for going forward. Gonna make that delicious coffee. Unlike this no-name great value medium roast. It definitely puts chest on your hair. So here's the battle plan for today. Go to work. From 9 till noon, I'm in training for this new live chat thing. Which means I just gotta listen to a guy talk. But I've already done live chat when I worked at the call center. And if it's anything like that, it is pretty hectic. Basically, I remember at the call center when I was doing live chat for Virgin Mobile, basically you would handle up to 5 interactions at one given time. So you'd have 5 chat windows going. So you really had to use your thinker and remember who's doing what and what's doing who. So, you know, you could, at the call center, it was like somebody be chatting about a potential phone upgrade, asking what would be good for them. Oh guys, I'm adding the cinnamon. This is cinnamon, right? Apparently you can add nutmeg too. Do I have that kind? Because I've never had nutmeg before. And what are you? You're probably not nutmeg. You're big and flaky. You're sage. What's this? Oregano. That'd be gross. How do I not have nutmeg in here? You got coriander, curry. Like, isn't nutmeg a common spice? Yeah, I don't have any nutmeg. You got garlic. You got a lot of garlic in this house. Basil. Oh, whatever. Cinnamon, cause it's all you have. Throw your cinnamon around, Adam. Just throw it, just toss it, send it. All right, add some cinnamon to the coffee for that anti-diabetic work. No, I used to add cinnamon to my bulletproof coffees, and that was the shaker I was looking for, and I think I probably ran out, because I do recall now, a couple weeks ago, when I broke the fast with a bulletproof coffee, I used cinnamon in it, and I think I threw the container out because it was empty. Because cinnamon has this nice effect, but anyway. So we go into the live chat, and at Virgin Mobile, it was basically, while you're in live chat, you're dealing with up to 5 people at one given time. So you really had to remember who was what and what was who. And if it's like that here, it's going to be interesting. Because, you know, one could be phone repair, one could be a software issue, one could be a hardware issue, one could be a hardware configuration problem. It could get pretty sketchy, but that's a challenge, and I love freaking challenges. That means I'm gonna go into work, have to hustle. The more you have to hustle, the faster time flies. I know, time is linear, it doesn't fly. But, have you ever been to work and it's just boring? It's dead, there's nothing going on, and time just drags? That 8-hour shift feels like it's taken 16? Yeah, I don't like that. That's going to be tomorrow at work because it's Good Friday. A lot of the offices are closed and the only ones running are the mandatory offices. So tomorrow is going to be a slow-paced day. Today is going to be a training day. Monday is going to be a slow-paced day because a lot of the offices are closed. The next 5 days, it's going to be a good time. Alrighty, people. I didn't fire up the truck because it's actually warm out and raining. Yeah, it's raining. How cold is it outside?
The current temperature in North Bay is 4 degrees.
Yeah, it's 4 degrees, so there should be no reason to have ice on the windshield. Unless ice forms at new temperatures because of Canada. Alright? Yeah, that's a thing. There's a kitten in the window. This is the hat trick for kitten in the window. She's always in the window at this time because she likes to watch the kids get on the bus. Because they get on the bus just at the corner there by the garbage cans. Actually, it's more further down the road where they get on the bus. So she likes to watch them get loaded up. I don't know why. Cats are weird. It's what they do. They like to do things. Maybe she wants to go to school and get book learnt. I don't know. Maybe I should buy her a thesaurus and she can learn new words instead of mow, 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 face. Alrighty, animals are fed. Now it's time to go put in my big old dirty 3 hours of labor. Get my training. Find out when I'm going to be jumping into live chat. I hope they don't have us doing both live chat and live calls at the same time. Because that would suck. Because live calls, you can actually do everything. Live chat. If you're handling 5 live chats on a live call, that person on the live call is going to suffer. Alright, so Well, my pathway's all clear. There's a lot of dog shit on it. And yeah, it is pissing rain out right now, which is gonna get rid of a lot of the snow. I'm thinking what I want to do is the moment all this snow clears, I'm gonna start striking at the raspberry bushes. What's this? You're eligible for a special savings on Dell equipment. But I already got enough computers. Dell, haven't you figured that out yet? Let's jump in the truck and head off. I'm not gonna film the drive to work. Got nothing really to talk about except for the fact that, let me tell you right now guys, cinnamon in your coffee has no flavor and it doesn't blend well. And there's an orange ball in my backyard. I don't know if you can see that way over there, but there's an orange ball in the backyard. I don't know why, but there is. I think the next time I do the cinnamon coffee, I'm gonna do myself a solid and pass it through the blender. Really get it in there because it really clumped up and stuck to the sidewalls of the cup. But I don't know, I don't feel hungry right now, so yesterday after I had my coffee, I felt hungry. Actually, you know what? I am gonna drive to work because there's this new device I want to talk about. So let's do a rolling vlog. So last night, while I was dropping ass with class, come across this article that Google partnered up with some company called Ank, I think it is, and they're releasing a device that plugs into your 12-volt cigarette lighter, and it officially gives your car Google Assistant. You can even do it with an old classic car as long as you have a 12-volt, the circular plugs, the old cigarette lighter plugs, if you will. And you jack that thing in and a Bluetooth syncs to your phone, and then you can just do all the Google Assistant stuff right from your car. And it's going to be priced at $40. It also has 2 USB ports on it, which would be great for charging darts or charging your phone. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This I want to get behind. Now they are aware that some newer cars don't come with the cigarette lighter attachment, as ashtrays are no longer found in new vehicles because they're trying to not promote smoking cigarettes while driving. The whole distracted driving clause, right? But you don't see them actually jumping on board and shutting that down anytime soon. All you see is them like trying to make it harder to smoke by, you know, jacking the price of cigarettes or you know, removing the ability to smoke by making it harder and giving less places to actually friggin' light up. But this device is pretty cool. Like, you plug it into your 12-volt relay, you link it up to your Google Home, it Bluetooth connects to your phone. So to me what it is, it's literally a microphone for your car to hear Google Assistant, and it does everything off your phone and your phone's data. Which means right now, if I forgot to turn off the house, I could be like, oh crap, I forgot to turn off the house. Or if for some reason the porch light's not on and I'm pulling back in from, say, pool on Friday nights or some shit, I could be like, you know, turn on the outside light from my truck and it would turn on the outside light, which would be pretty friggin' awesome. It's raining out, but not that bad right now. We're supposed to get a lot more come tonight, thanks to a freaking Colorado low. Every time something happens in Canada with the weather, it's all because of frickin' Colorado. Well, you guys jealous that we legalized the entire country of weed? You guys only have your little state? Nah, you're probably not jealous. You're probably not at fault. Just so happens that whatever happens down yonder affects up yonder, which makes no sense, but hey, it is what it is, people. So I'm probably definitely gonna get on board with that. If I can fix the cigarette lighter in the Trans Am, I might even get a second one for the Trans Am. I got a lot of work to do on the Trans Am though. I gotta hook up a multimeter to between the battery and the ground, and then start yanking fuses to find out what the hell is sapping the battery, because there's something still pulling a drain on the battery and I don't know what it is. We replaced the headlight motors because that's what I thought it was. I thought they were always staying in the disengaged position, so those have been replaced, and that didn't fix the problem. We replaced the window motors figuring that would solve the problem, and it did not. So the next step is, it's got to be some short internally that's cocking over the program and sapping the battery. So I know how to do the test. I've done it before on my old Ford Tempo when I discovered that it was actually a relay in the fuse box that was staying partially open and letting power get through. But my Tempo was bad, guys. You go a day without starting it and the battery was drained. if you went like 12 hours without starting it, it was like a like a low friggin' amperage crank. And then I discovered after pulling all these fuses, nothing happened. And then I pulled one for, I can't remember what the hell the device was. And then all of a sudden the amperage draw went down to a nominal amperage draw. Like you always have an amperage draw on the battery, right? Because the ECU needs to stay engaged, and there's other components that need to stay lit. Like your car's real-time clock. The stereo always gets power, but just enough to keep the memory going. So you always have some sort of an amperage draw. I thought that guy was going to change lanes, so I backed off for him. The amperage draw I was getting was a little bit too high for norm. And now the Trans Am does it. Not as bad, but it's pretty bad. And I thought it was the stereo. The subs in the back weren't quite remoting off, so that's why when I disconnected the subs, I figured that would be the end-all solution. Turns out that was not the case, because I actually ran the subs without the fuse for a long time so they wouldn't be turning on the amps, thinking that'd be a solution, and it didn't do anything. The issue was still there. So, not knowing what to do, I just kind of parked that, and I was too fat to drive it. Holy crap, there's no way in hell last year or the year before I could have drove my car. Too fat, can't fit, you know? Now I'm 100% certain I can get in that car and drive it and feel good about it and not get the same stomach pains I was getting before. So that's why I'm looking really forward to cleaning it up. And I'm not a body man. I'm not good, but the car's only worth like 500 bucks, Kelly Black Book or Blue Book, whatever the hell it's called. So I really don't care about putting an awesome paint job onto her. I just want to make it look better than it does now with all of its strip paint. People are going to be like really fussy about the job I do and all that, and it's like, who cares, man? If I were to sell that car in its current state, I'd probably get maybe tops $750 to $1,000 for it. Sure, it runs, sure it drives, I probably need some suspension work, but it is what it is. Anyway, people, I'll talk to you in a bit. Time to go get some training. All right, peace. Alright guys, I'm home. Been home for a little bit. I forgot to go out and do groceries, frig sakes, because as you can see, all I have in the freezer is broccoli and a roast and some bones to make more bone broth, some strawberries to make a smoothie, some other berries back there to make a smoothie. And in the refrigerator, she's pretty much basic. Just some avocados and some bone broth, which I gotta throw out, and a bottle of Diet Coke. I do plan on breaking the fast tomorrow because, well, 5 days, then I'm gonna eat the weekend, and then I'm gonna jump back into it next week. Why not? Seeing how I'm basically doing the fast for the autophagy thing, because I do have a lot of loose skin on me, and I'm trying to get that to break down. I've decided that we're gonna run 5 days, and then eat, 5 days, then eat, 5 days, then eat, and that's gonna help me hit my goal and get rid of some of this loose skin, because she's gotta go. Also, I remembered back in the day when my friend Shannon used to make coffee at her house, she used to put nutmeg in it, but she used one of these guys, one of these brewers, not a Keurig. And she used to add cinnamon to it as well, but what she would do is she would pour the cinnamon and the nutmeg into the grinds, and then the percolator would do all the blending, and you didn't end up with that clumpy shit that I had in my coffee cup. I think that's what I'm gonna do for tomorrow, because tomorrow we're not gonna have coffee service at work because it's a holiday. We're not gonna have access to the cafeteria because it's a holiday. So what I'm gonna do is make a pot of coffee, fill my thermos, I'm gonna put nutmeg and cinnamon in the brew, and I'm gonna bring that there with me to work, because I like to drink coffee at work, because I have a feeling tomorrow's gonna be boring as frig, and I'm gonna need to find a way to entertain myself. That, and there's only 2 other people in the office, and they sit on the polar opposite end of the vortex than me. So I'm gonna need something to keep me awake and keep me entertained, and that something is gonna be a café and pacing. Yeah, kind of like what I'm doing right now, walking around. But I got back from the doctor's office, came in the house, had to rock a major piss, and then decided, you know what, I forgot to talk to you guys. I was gonna film on the way back and tell you what the doctor said. So I was more curious about anything was my LDL, because that's one of the big things, and even he said that. He's like, I'm impressed, and I'm like, why is that? And he goes, your stats are like right on par. He goes, I'd like to see you lose another 10 pounds. He goes, but honestly, he goes, you're in great physical shape. He's like, your blood sugar level is perfect for a normal person. He goes, we can pretty much say you've beaten the risk of getting diabetes. He goes, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. And then he asked me about any pains I have because of the fasting. And I said, no. And he goes, you still get hungry? I said, oh yeah, time to time. I said, but that's just the ghrelin response. That kicks in at breakfast, lunch, and supper. That's just a given. All humans have that. And he's like, don't you get stomach growls? And I said, yes, but I researched that. And apparently what that is when you're hungry and you start burning fat, fat gets mobilized. And the growling is fat. And he goes, okay. And the nurse overheard us talking about it, so she had to come back in the room and she wanted to talk. He weighed me again today. And like I said, my scale is off by 4 pounds. So he wanted to weigh me. I didn't want to weigh in until Friday. I came in at 208 today, which, okay, sweet. And then he asked me, he goes, are you doing another fast? And I said, oh yeah. I said, I started one on Monday. And I said, today's day 4 of no food. And he's like, okay. He's like, and you've went for like 10, 11 days before, right? I said, yeah, that's the longest I've gone. And he's like, you don't feel weak when you do that? And I'm like, no, man, I feel great when I do that. Like, I feel like $1,000,000. So he kind of pauses and he starts thinking about it. And he's like, I researched that autophagy thing you were talking about. And he's like, if that's what you're doing it for, and even he said, he goes, you know, they say the first 3 days is when you get your max benefit. Then after that, she kind of slants down and calms down. And I said, yeah, I'm aware of that. Because after the first 24 hours, you get a 300% boost in autophagy. And then after the next 24 hours, you get another 30% boost. And then after the 72-hour mark, you get a 30% boost. And then it just kind of holds there and then diminishes. You get diminishing gains in the autophagy. So the only benefit to a long-term fast is fat burn. Your body will gradually stop the autophagy and will start focusing on burning fat. And I told him, I said, that's why I've been doing a lot of high-intense interval training on the pedal bike, exercise bike, is because autophagy or high-intense interval training will actually cause you to get double the effect. So in sense, after the first 24 hours, that 300% will become 600% because you're boosting it over a 3-hour period with HIIT by double times. Now your body is naturally in a state of autophagy as you go. Your body is always in a state of autophagy, but it's so low that you don't even notice it. Your body is always consuming dead cells and converting them back into components to be used to create new cells that work better. However, when you go fasting, that's when the real effects come in. That's how that one guy in Germany was able to fast for 382 days straight, and he doesn't have the friggin' belly flap like Adam Sandler had on that movie Click, because his body was consuming the dead mutated cells and converting them into fresh cells, something that can be used later on. So I really opened up his mind, and he's like, if you don't mind me asking, where'd you get all your information from? I said, oh, Dr. Jason Fung from Toronto. He's got a YouTube channel, and he posts a bunch of articles, and he's got a book out about the Obesity Code, which is the name of the book. I haven't read it yet, but Joss has it. I'm going to borrow it off her after she finishes it, or I might just buy my own copy off Amazon. Because all this stuff really interests me. Like this whole body transformation and stuff, this is a good thing to have as a hobby, like bodybuilding and all that, when your job is IT. Like, get away from the computers when you spend 8 hours a day on them at work and try and focus on something more elaborate. Anyway, we got back on the talk of fasting, and he goes, well, how long are you going to go this time? I told him flat out, I said I was going to go as long as I possibly can, but I think I'm just going to go for 5 days, break the fast tomorrow night, and then eat all weekend, and then maybe jump back into it next week. And he said, try going for less than 5 days. Maybe do a 3-day, 2 on, 3-day, 2 on, 3-day, 2 on, so you can maximize the autophagy. I don't know. We'll see what we do. Like I told him, I said, I want to hit 200 pounds by May 28th. And he goes, what's May 28th? You got a wedding or something? And I said, no. I said, May 28th is the anniversary of me starting the keto diet. I said, you remember last year, I came in here on May 2nd, and that's when you told me about type 2 diabetes. He said, yeah. And I said, well, I started dieting, but I wasn't doing the right diet. And it wasn't until my boss told me about keto and how effective it is for beating type 2 diabetes. So, and he's like, okay. And he's like, yeah, and I looked into that. And he was like, so he started asking questions about the keto flu and how that was. And I told him it was brutal. It lasted 3 weeks. But after that, then it was like easy going. It was cake. So he asked me what I was doing to combat the electrolyte loss. And I told him about the electrolyte elixir that my buddy Chris put me on. And I told him literally it's just friggin' Himalayan pink salt and no salt. So potassium and sodium, the 2 chemical breakdowns of electrolyte. And mix that in with a 2-liter jug of water, in my case, my 52-ounce mud jug. And I just dried that in my face. And he's like, that's actually kind of interesting. He goes, a lot of people buy electrolyte supplements from Walmart. And I said, yeah, and literally they're paying like $30 for a tub of powder that has dextrose in it and potassium and sodium. So they're just basically adding a high glycemic indexed sweetener to their electrolytes, which in turn is causing... we basically got talking about all this stuff, and I was pretty much there for like 45 minutes just chatting about health and all the research that I've done over this journey. And he was really impressed, and he's like, "You put on a lot more muscle mass, I can tell that already." He's like, you know, last year when you came in, you had like a pregnant lady's belly, and now your chest sticks out further than your gut, so you're obviously doing something right. He goes, "I might not have agreed with it when you came in last week, but I did a little research, and after talking with, I'm not going to say her name, the nurse, you know, it's all starting to make sense." So I got kind of intrigued. And he's like, "This keto diet," he goes, "my only concern is you're not taking in any fiber." And I said, "Yeah, actually, yes, I am." I said, "I use chia seeds to get my omega-3 fats, omega-6, and they're boatloads of fiber." So he's like, "What do you do? Just take a spoonful in your mouth and eat them?" I said, "No, I mix them in with my whey shake, and then I down the hatch, and it gives me the fiber I need to basically not have the bumpy." And he just kind of laughed at that. And he's like, "Yeah, fiber's kind of important." And I digress. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. There's a lot of study on fiber being yes and no, and too much fiber causing gastrointestinal issues and all this other stuff. But to each their own, eh? But like I told him, I said, I'm not saying keto is the answer to everybody. I said, this worked for me. It might not work for you. It might not work for any of the patients out there in the waiting room. This worked for me. So because it worked for me, means this is the way I gotta be. But they might have other issues, like type 1 diabetes, where keto will put them in their deathbed in a week. So he was aware of that, and he's like, yeah. He's like, you know, there's all sorts of different diets out there. He's like, "Have you checked out the new Canadian food diet? The new Canadian food guide?" Guys, the new Canadian food guide is 1/4 grains, 1/4 meat, and then the rest is all veg. It looks good, except for that 1/4 grain. And I told him, I said, you know, I can't do grain. He's like, "Why?" I said, "Because 96% of the population can't do grain." And he's like, "What, gluten intolerance?" And I said, "We've evolved to the point now," and I said, "You can look this up. There's actually a research paper on this. There's a bunch of research papers on this that I read, and I talked about it. Gluten intolerance, humans have evolved now because of the kind of foods that we eat, where our bodies no longer know how to process gluten properly, which gives you that intestinal issue. It gives you the friggin' gravy bum. It gives you all those problems. This is a thing. It's like we used to eat a lot of grain back in the day because foraging for food is what we did. Grain was easy to find, grain was easy to grow, grain was easy to produce, grain was easy to process, grain was easy to make and eat. You know, back in the day when they invented bread and they realized, well, you know what? Bread is tasty, bread is super filling, and it gives you energy to get through the day. And it's super easy to make, super cheap to make, and it grows pretty much everywhere, like the materials. So people could process gluten back then. But then as of late, you know, we've been getting on the processed foods, the TV dinners, the craft dinners, the friggin' all the garbage at the store that's got more carbohydrates, yet it's labeled as a meat product, you know? All these high glucose juices and sucralose juices and sugar added to friggin' pretty much everything. So our bodies learned to digest those kind of foods and forgot the old ways. And this is just natural evolution. You know, it's the same reason why back in the day when we didn't cook our meat, they basically hung it, dried it, salted it, and cured it. And that's how they ate it versus cooking it over a fire, whatever the case may be, or cooking it right over the fire. It would cause you to have a gastral issue and give you diarrhea, which would cause you to basically evacuate all the good bacteria and bad bacteria in your gut. Therefore, your appendix had to kick in and replenish your gut flora. That's something that we don't do anymore because we properly cook our food. Hell, a lot of the people who buy processed shit, that stuff's already cooked. You're just heating it up. Because we don't eat like we used to, the appendix has become a useless organ because we don't use it. And the reason why it gets infected, or not infected, but I can't remember the term for it now. But the reason why it basically gets bad is because we don't use it. It's constantly storing. The bacteria in there turns bad. And then all of a sudden you have appendicitis. It's got to go. So because of this, because of how we eat nowadays, we no longer need the organs that we used back in the day. And because they sit idle for so long, they basically get cranky, they break down, they gotta go. Same with gluten intolerance. The only reason why it's such a mainstream thing now is because people are realizing that, like the new generation, the millennial generation, might as well just use it. They're being born where they're not eating a lot of gluten, or their parents didn't eat a lot of gluten because they just lived like me off processed bullshit foods. So their bodies weren't designed to handle the gluten intake. So when they farted out babies, the babies were born with that genetic code. Therefore now, welcome to gluten intolerance, avocado toast. And it all made sense to him, which was pretty cool. You know, I didn't feel like I was talking to a wall. He was actually interested in what I had to say. And he's like, this, you know, this changes things big time. Gonna have to really look into this because obviously this is a thing. And he agreed with me about the appendicitis and how, you know, what we ate back in, you know, 1920s versus what we eat now in 2019. It's two different freaking meals. It's two different ways of prepping, two different ways of treatment. So it changes the way the body is going to adapt to consume these foods. So I thought that was pretty cool. We chatted for a bit. He was impressed with the weight loss. He's like, you know, if you can bust out 10 more pounds, you can get down below 200. He goes, your BMI should be perfect. You should be in the norm. And I'd really like to see that. And I said, well, it's possible. I said, all I got to do is just keep on hustling and I'll get there. I said, but beware. I said, once I get down to my target weight, I'm going into mass muscle gain. So the weight's going to come back on, but it's going to come back on in lean muscle mass. And he's like, you know what? Lean muscle mass is fine. He goes, oh, sorry, there's a bird outside the door. Is that a blue jay? Look at these two. What are those? I don't even know if you guys can see them. There's like, there's one over there. Kind of see him hobbling around. Oh no, it's focusing on the screen. It's blurry. That's what Scampers was friggin' chirping at. There's one right here. I don't even know what the hell kind of bird that is. It's these little shitbirds. Sorry, I get easily distracted. Hopefully these guys got good nests because we're expecting some serious friggin' rain today. Hey, buddy. Bye. But yeah, I told him, I said my next goal is to get some serious muscle going, build some serious strength. And he's like, oh, what gym do you go to? And I'm like, Chez Maison. And he's like, what? I'm like, Chez Maison. He's like, I never heard of that one. I said, that's right, because it's at my house. He went, oh, I get it now. And I'm like, yeah, I don't go to the gym. It grosses me out too much. And he's like, why? You don't like being around people? I said, no, it's not being around people. It's the people. And I explained I'm not really a germaphobe, but, you know, when some big sweaty bitch is doing bench presses, he could have the courtesy once he's done doing his sets on that machine or that bench or that seat to go to the wall, grab a paper towel and the squirt bottle, hose it down, wipe his bitch up. Because nothing is more gross than having to clean up somebody else's friggin' toxified sweat. I don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. So that's what I told him. I said, I got a Bowflex at home. So it's not the greatest Bowflex, but hell, it was cheap. And guys, speaking of the Bowflex, anyway, and I said, I got an exercise bike at home, some free weights. It's awesome. A while ago, I posted a video from the garage and there was a Bowflex in the garage and people thought I moved it out there. I didn't move it out there. That's the old Bowflex. This is the Bowflex Elite. That one there's the Power 1000, I think it's called, or the P1000. I bought the P1000 back in June, July-ish when I went to Sturgeon Falls to pick it up. And it was in here, but I didn't really like it because of A, I maxed out the power rods because it's only 110 pounds per side, so 220. And I maxed it out on my rows. And B, it didn't have the lat bar, which is something I really wanted, and Bowflex couldn't hook me up. Originally what I was going to do, if Bowflex could hook me up with the lat tower, is I was going to buy the lat tower and hook it up to that one because I really liked that one because it was small, the bench folded up easily, I could get it out of the... Is this happening right now? Like the cat literally went behind the curtain, came out, and just death from above my dog. She wants to play, and he's stupid. Go play with the cat. Yeah, she wants to play with you, dude. Look at her. She's in a playful mood. Fight her. Come on, Oreo. Get in there. Go play with the cat. She really wants to play with him, and he'd rather bite his moose. Sorry, Scampers. You're going to have to instigate a better fight. No, you quit? I moved the bike there, guys, so I can watch wrestling and pedal. But, yeah. The Bowflex that's in the garage is the old P1000. I was going to sell it on Kijiji, but my buddy Jean, aka Bon Jovi, from that video when he sang that one time, he wants to get some gear and start working out, but finances are tight. So I bought that one for 50 bucks. I have no use for it. I was gonna sell it on Kijiji for 50 bucks and recoup my money, but then I mentioned I had it, and he mentioned, well, I'd love to have something like that. So I told him, I said, listen, like right now he's in a little bit of a domestic situation with his ex. I said, once you get that problem solved, I'll do you a solid. I'll load it in the back of my truck and bring it over, and we can set it up in a room. And then you can make a workout studio like I have, and then, you know, set aside 30 minutes every night and just beat the shit out of your body. So dude, it's great. It's a great thing. Like, you get off work and you come home and you're feeling like garbage, lift, just lift. You feel amazing after you're done. You feel like you could take on the world. You feel great. Your body's full of endorphins and you feel amazing. And he's like, yeah, he goes, I see how you've turned yourself around and you're so much more happier now and you feel great. And you know, even despite all the bullshit going on with your work, like, you still seem like you're carefree and happy. And I said, that's because of what I'm doing. I feel good about myself right now. So no, I didn't move the Bowflex to the garage, guys. That's the old one. That's going to be going hopefully this summer. Also, that fridge that's out there, I'm going to get rid of that because, and then I was thinking about moving the compressor into that corner because I'm pretty sure she'll fit. And that will give me more room for whatever in the garage. But yeah, I got to do some clean out of the garage before we even consider Operation Trans Am rebuild. But yeah, that's what I want to do. Is get rid of that there Bowflex once he gets rid of his domestic situation, and then life should be good. We'll be able to get the garage all tuned up. Like, it's currently April the 18th. If we get all this rain, that should clear up the backyard a lot. And like I said, I want to get out there and start whacking those friggin' raspberry bushes before they grow foliage, so that they're easier to spot. Because I know there's a lot of rock. Because, you know, it was a buddy of mine on Facebook was like, why don't you just grab your push mower and drive over them like you did with the patch in the front yard? Problem is I know there's a lot of big rocks in that area, as well as a lot of logs, and I don't want to mess up my friggin' push mower with that. So when I did it the one year with the hedge trimmers, it worked pretty effective, but I was too fat and I couldn't do it for long without my back trying to fall out my ass. So the battle plan is now I can actually bend over, my back doesn't hurt, I can squat, I can get low, and I can get in there and whip them all up. And then I'm going to get in there with a round mouth shovel, unless I can talk Dennis into bringing over his Mini X. I'm going to call before I dig, obviously, because I don't know where the gas lines are in this friggin' area. And I'm going to dig it up and yank the roots out. After, I'm going to bundle them all up and throw them in the truck. And there's a compost place up at the dump. And I think there's also a compost place at the recycling center down by the strip club. So either way, I can bring them somewhere and dispose of them once and for all. Obviously gonna have to wear gloves for that because those friggin' raspberry bushes are thorny little bitches. So it's gonna be a pain in the arse to pull them. But once all this snow is gone and I can trek out there, that's the battle plan. I want to start hitting that every night after work from 5:30 till whatever the hell the sun starts to go down. Just start trashing it. Even if I use my friggin' scythe and I do golf club swings, just clean up as much of it as possible and get that out of there. And Dad was like, man, you could plant an awesome garden there. And I'm thinking, you know what? I could plant weed there. But I don't even smoke that anymore, so why would I bother? Like, guys, I haven't touched, I don't know, it's like since it became legal, it's just not fun anymore. It's weird. It's very weird. But yeah, I haven't touched that stuff for like a long time. I still have the prescription I bought last March. I still have about 5 grams of that left, and that was an ounce. I just don't need it anymore. I can fall asleep now. And smoking it recreationally, I don't see the joy in it. So, hey, to each their own, man. If you love getting friggin' blazed, have at her. That's your thing. But it's not really mine. You know, I did like drinking, but I didn't like the morning after effect. So, that's out. And, yeah, so that's just me now. I gotta go pick up some groceries. I've been chatting with you guys for a while about this. But yeah, I'm gonna probably head to the grocery store there and pick up some food for tomorrow night because we're gonna break the fast. After going through the flyers on my phone, I decided we're gonna take a rip over to Freshco because they got a deal on some pretty fat looking, oh my goodness, it's disgusting out there. Some pretty fat looking steaks. I kind of want to destroy a steak tomorrow night, so that's the BP. Gonna get home from a boring day's worth of work because like I said, it's gonna be dead tomorrow because of Good Friday. And then we're gonna friggin' bulletproof coffee, throw in a workout, and then drive steak down our food hole. It's gonna be fan-frickin-tastic. Can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. Beep beep freaking cappy. Check it out, guys. It's foggy as shit out. You can also hear the rain. Wow. Look at this ominous haze in the backyard. No, that's not from my vaping. Look at how much the freaking raspberry bushes have come up though. Like, you guys see how much, you see where you can see the brown twigs right here? All of that is my yard and it's being consumed by raspberry bushes. I'm gonna have my workout ahead of me this summer. I think I might knock down those trees too, I don't know. We'll see what we do. They look pretty dead already. Might tie a rope on them, chop them at the base and pull so they fall on this side. Chop them up for firewood, put it at the side of the road, free wood. Just get rid of them because they look decrepit and pretty much shot. And I got a chainsaw now, so that's a thing. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the truck. I'm gonna put the camera away, I don't wanna break it. And then we'll go from there. Alrighty, we're down here at Freshco, and as you can see, the friggin' deals are on. But it's raining like a son of a bitch out, and this parking lot's full, so let's get in, get our shit, and get out. The life of a mail carrier. Oh, look, his torrential downpour out. Better leave this guy's mailbox open. At least it wasn't anything important that got destroyed. Just some one-day-only buying guide that luckily I don't care about. Jesus, Murphy. Anything good in here? Oh, they're buying cash for gold. Silver, silverware, watches, all sorts of shit. Bring in your gold. They're buying it. Bring in your vintage cash. They're buying it. Bring in more gold. They're buying it. All the gold. Bring in your old hockey cards. They're buying it. Not for face value. Wanted. Bunch of shit. Frig off. You know, I watch a lot of YouTubers who talk about fasting, and a bunch of them are a bunch of Sallies. Because they're like, oh, the hardest thing to do is to go grocery shopping when you're on a fast. You just want to go home and eat right away. Well, I'm 4 days into a 5-day fast. Oh, what I just took out my thermos. Left it in the truck, gotta clean that. But I am not feeling any urge to eat right now. I'm not even hungry. But I bought some more broccoli. I got some in there, but we're gonna make a full bag tomorrow night and just like flood the system with the fibers. And they had this deal on for these like really thick steaks, 2 for $10. So I figured Friday, Saturday, Sunday we're eating at the parents' house. Mom's making ham, deviled eggs, and salad. I'll put that in yonder. And for the coffee, I grabbed some Nutmeg and ground cinnamon. Yeah, there's the Nutmeg. That's all I bought. That's it. That's my entire shopping spree. Thanks for coming out. GG. So for tomorrow, what I plan on doing, I already said, make a pot of coffee, load it in here, drink the rest. Alrighty, cleaned out the thermos, so we're good there. I'm gonna head upstairs and relax for a bit and then put in a workout. Why not? So I'm gonna go make an instant Keurig, the way my friend does, using some nutmeg and some cinnamon, because I want to get a coffee in me before I bang out some weights, mainly because I want the power. Don't think I added enough coffee bean. Whatever. I'm gonna go pound this in my face. We're gonna come back down here, rip some light weights, heavy hit, burn off some damn calories, yo. Tomorrow is weighing day and then it's feeding day, yo. Alright guys, done my workout, had a shower, decided to shave the side hair. I might keep the goatee, I don't know, we'll see. I'm almost tempted to shave off the side here and just rock a goatee. See how that looks. But, had a shower, did my workout and then had a shower. Pretty much like last night. Went easy on the weights. Did 5 sets of 10. Oh, he wants to go outside. Meanwhile, it's pissing outside. I don't know why he wants to go out there. I don't know how well this is coming across on camera, but look at the fog out there. When I was coming back from the grocery store, guys, at the bottom of the hill, I couldn't see my house. There was that much fog. Go poop! Friggin' dog, he wants back inside because it's raining. My fur's getting wet. Such a little prima donna. But yeah, I couldn't see my house, so that was the thing. Anyway, I just came downstairs to restock my water because I was out and figured, you know what? The dog out, but yeah, I can't believe how foggy it is out there. It's hard to tell out this window. It's even harder to tell at this window through the camera lens anyway. Definitely some weird weather out there right now. Very weird. Oh, they're calling for torrential downpours. Not much we can do about it, just got a deal. Alright guys, it's late as frig. Well, not really, it's only 7:30 at night. But I'm gonna shut this video down here because we've been going for a while and yeah, I can't believe it. So on that note, thanks for watching. Do yourself a solid, burn some calories today. Just friggin' lift, boys. I'm telling you, it makes you feel fantastic. And until next time, keep on vlogging. Sit, stupid, sit. Good dog.